To the casual observer, this looks like a typical Southern California landscape. Tall palms, lush plantings, and a beautiful green lawn. But the truth is, all of these are exotics. Not a single one is native. The region's native landscape is chaparral. Small trees, scrubby shrubs, summer brown grasses, and other plants that survive the heat and live with only the rainfall Mother Nature provides. Lawns became popular in Southern California during the Victorian era. Their emerald green smoothness evoked wealth and gentility, made possible by newly invented garden hoses and sprinklers that spread water to keep lawns and Victorian flower beds growing. Lawns became more widespread with the construction of the state water projects, followed by the housing boom after World War II. Lawn was easy. Plant, water, and mow. And it was a reminder of the green grass back home, wherever that was. In those days, no one thought twice about how much water, energy, or other resources lawns used. But that has changed. It's time to say bye-bye to the grass and hello to more water-wise, sustainable, and climate-appropriate landscapes. How do we get from here to there? That's what I'll show you today on A Growing Passion. In areas where lawns can survive on rainfall, they're fine. But that's not California's climate.
If you walked through Southern California 125 years ago, the landscape you see today did not exist. The trees were nothing like the trees we have today. The lawns were non-existent. This was a pretty rough landscape of gravel, alluvial fans, deposit, debris, all sorts of things were laid out across here because that's how nature functioned. The way we got lawns, the way we got these extraordinary canopy of trees in Claremont and San Diego and elsewhere is that we imported water.
Southern California's love affair with lawns really kicked in when the LA Aqueduct opened in 1913. Water from the eastern Sierras was pumped hundreds of miles to Los Angeles, and that water soon changed the landscape.
The moment that water arrived, lawns became necessary. Trees started to sprout because people could plant them and spray water everywhere, and we totally changed the aesthetic, let alone the look of Southern California.
It seems like a love of lawns is almost hardwired into our DNA. It smells so good, a freshly mown lawn. I love that.
It does smell good, and I think that's part of why we love lawns.
Because of the smell?
Yeah, it's like a memory of one form or another. Something about the green, maybe, and then the feel. If we were in bare feet, we'd be sitting here sort of bouncing a little bit, the squishiness of it.
I'm ready to take my socks off
Absolutely, right here. Absolutely. But there's also, when you were a child, how much time did you spend rolling on the lawn, playing on the lawn, having that sort of experience? And that too is a kind of embedded memory.
Yeah, and that's probably part of why we like lawns so much.
I think so, I think so. Part of why Marston Quad looks the way it does is that the founders of the college wanted to create what they called a college in the garden. Great. The problem with this place is that it's a massive green lawn in Southern California that absorbs an enormous amount of water.
This lawn's water use is not unusual. More than half the water Californians use at home, they use outside, and the majority of that goes to water lawns. It's as if we had all the water in the world.
This lawn is gorgeous, but what we don't calculate when we look at its beauty is the carbon footprint that it absorbs. The amount of fossil fuels that it takes to make this green include all of the fertilizer, pesticides as needed, the lawnmowers that are racing back and forth, that are consuming gasoline. All of that has to go into how we calculate the cost of such a place. If we don't get precipitation, we don't get groundwater. If we don't have groundwater, there's less to pump, which means that we need to then import more water. The dilemma is that if you import water, the cost goes up. And so part of this is a cost analysis that has to happen. And it seems to me that the answer is go to native landscaping to as much a degree you can, because that's going to reduce our need for imported water. So they're gorgeous, but they're expensive.
Lawns are really the default landscape. You can't think of what to plant? Roll out some sod. But the only good reason to have a lawn is if you actively use it. Lawns are great when you have very small children, but as the kids grow, they need more space, and they have more fun playing in a park. Some people want a lawn for playing games like croquet or pétanque. That's fine, but even then you only need 500 to 1,000 square feet. And as far as pets needing lawn, well, your dog won't explode. Lawns are best as shared resources in community centers, parks, and other places where they get lots of use. We simply can't continue to use lawn as a green carpet outside every home.
One of the things that's happened since the great drought of the last 5 years is that Pomona College, like lots of places in Southern California, have recognized that they're using a lot of water to create a New England lawn. So part of what the college has done is to adhere to its notion of being a college in the garden, while on its edges and areas that are not commonly used, rip up those lawns and start to put back into the ground the native landscape that was here in the 19th century.
This is what landscape should be, right?
This is what we should have in Southern California.
So there's natives, like there's the sycamores and some of the grasses.
Yes.
And maybe that's a native redbud. But then the Mediterranean is like the smoke tree, the cotoneaster.
And you don't need a lawn to have a picnic.
No, and you've got green there. It permeable pavement, it just feels right.
It feels right.
As time goes on, we'll have even less rainfall and hotter summers, thanks to global warming. It's going to be harder and harder to keep a lawn green. Wow, this is so pretty.
It is so beautiful.
It's all dry shade, which is really tough.
Right.
So I can see they use some of the native shrubs and the Mediterranean succulents, and then well, not real grasses, it looks like grass.
Right, but it's also interesting the way that darts into the concrete.
Yep,
really
absolutely.
Sort of shaping how you see it.
And this is cut for drainage, right?
Yeah. And if you look at this structure, they thought about what they did. They didn't just pour concrete, they thought very carefully about how this worked.
Instead of lawn, let's fill our gardens with plants suited to the climate. Ones that grow with little need for irrigation and require minimal maintenance. Garden makeovers can be big projects that involve lots of decisions. And one of those decisions is how to get rid of the grass. Removing a lawn takes time. It takes patience. And in some cases, it takes a lot of muscle. There are different ways to remove a lawn. The best way for your garden depends in part on the kind of grass you have. There are two basic kinds of roots. Some grasses have fine thread-like roots, like this turf grass. Getting rid of these grasses is pretty straightforward. Kill the leaves on top and the roots below just die. Other grasses have thick, fleshy, whitish roots that look a little like the sprouts from an old potato. These are actually stems that creep along at or just below the ground. These fleshy stems store energy and spread really well, which is why these grasses are so hard to get rid of. Getting rid of grass depends on some other issues too, like how much time you have, the resources you can invest, how strong you are, and what you'll replace the lawn with. Have you ever seen one of those one-day makeover shows where a contractor comes in, scrapes away all the dirt, takes away the grass, and then installs a brand new landscape? Well, if you were to go back to that landscape 2 or 3 months later, you can bet that all of that grass will have resprouted. To get rid of lawn and do it right can take several months at least. As with all gardening, getting rid of a lawn requires a big measure of patience. The easiest way to kill a lawn is to turn the water off and let it die. That works for grasses with fine thread-like roots, but most lawns are a mixture of fine and fat root grasses. Turn the water off and the fat root grasses turn brown. But once the winter rains begin, they just green up and resume growing. If your lawn is small and your arms are strong, you can dig the fine root grasses out using a flat-edged shovel. You don't have to dig deep, only as deep as there are roots, maybe a few inches. Angle the shovel so you get all the roots with a minimum of soil. With large lawns, a sod cutter is much faster. Sod cutters are powerful, and they can be hard to control, so you need good upper body strength to operate one. Today, we're at the home of landscape designer Diane Downey. Diane has removed many lawns for clients, but she recently moved to a new home and inherited a big lawn she doesn't want.
The reason that I'm removing the turf out front here is that nobody ever walks on that grass. Only the neighborhood stray dogs and the person who mows the lawn. So why am I spending so much money on the water to irrigate it, to keep it looking halfway decent? That doesn't make sense. When we deal with turf grass, we typically need to apply about 4 feet of water. But because most of our irrigation systems are so inefficient, we end up applying about 8 feet of water a year to keep that grass looking green. If I replace that turf grass with moderate use water plants, which is what my edible trees will be and shrubs will be, then we're down to about 25 inches of water a year that they need. Now, if I can capture a lot of that water from the roof and from the driveway and direct it into that planter bed, then I've reduced my water bill tremendously. And by building the soil, making it a healthy soil sponge, by doing the sheet mulching process, the soil will be able to hold on to that water when we get it in the wintertime and then distribute it to the plants during the hot and dry times.
Saving water is a major motivator, but removing grass isn't always so easy.
The kind of grass that you get in older, more established lawns, you'll find that you have more and more Bermuda grass in it. It is very difficult to remove. So the best chance that we've got of removing it is actually to cut it out.
A couple of weeks ago, Diane gave the lawn a good watering to help moisten the soil and hold the sod clumps together. She removed rocks and pine cones and anything that could fly up if the sod cutter ran over it. And she flagged sprinkler heads and natural gas lines to avoid accidentally shearing them off. It's important to wear protective gear for sod cutting: long sleeves, long pants, gloves to protect your hands, and goggles to keep flying debris out of your eyes. Set the sod cutter's sharp, flat blade to dig as deep as the grass roots grow, between 3 and 12 inches. The goal is to take up all the grass, but as little soil as possible, in part because soil's heavy, and in part because, well, there's no reason to remove it unless it's filled with roots. Because of the fat-rooted Bermuda, the sod from this lawn is going into the green waste. It will be composted at high temperature, high enough to kill the Bermuda. If Diane's lawn hadn't been filled with Bermuda, she could have skipped the sod cutter entirely and just sheet mulched it. Sheet mulching kills the lawn by smothering the grass. As a side benefit, when the mulch breaks down, it helps build the soil. So where are we going to start?
Let's just start right here.
Okay.
And let's get
What do you want me to do first?
the paper. Let's get the paper out.
This is just brown paper, right?
This is brown craft paper that you get from the big box stores. Sheet mulch, which is a layer of paper or cardboard, and then on top of that you put lots and lots of mulch, good healthy mulch. That decomposes down and it builds the soil, makes the soil really healthy so that it can absorb the water, and the plants really enjoy that healthy, rich soil around their roots. So it's going to be important that we get some biology into this soil because it's pretty dead.
For that, we add a layer of worm castings, or humic acid, which is concentrated organic matter. They both support the beneficial soil microbes that slowly digest the sheet mulch and help incorporate the organic matter into the soil. Beneficial microbes interact with plant roots too. The next layer is construction paper that we overlap at the seams to keep stray roots from poking through.
See the overlap there?
Yeah.
You're looking for about 6 inches of
that
overlap.
much.
Because you don't want any grass coming up
Yeah.
between the joints.
Sure. We could have used recycled cardboard in place of paper if we'd found enough to cover this large an area. We water the paper and then we top it with a thick layer of organic mulch.
A good mix of biology, bacteria, protozoa, nematodes, fungi.
Organic mulch is mulch made from ground-up wood, leaves, branches, and other plant parts. The mulch layer shades weed seeds to keep them from sprouting. It forms an insulating blanket that holds moisture in the soil for a long time. And as beneficial microbes break the mulch down into tinier and tinier pieces, they, along with the tiny critters that live in the earth, mix and churn those pieces into the soil. That adds organic matter. It helps fast-draining soils hold water, and it helps heavy soils drain better, too.
The edges of the place where the grass is most likely to grow back, and as well as that, most of our planter beds are a little higher than the sidewalk or the driveway. So we get that problem when we mulch that sometimes the mulch will wash onto the sidewalk or driveway. So we've put this trench all the way around the edges, and now we're going to do this little burrito thing.
As we layer the paper into the trench, we pack the mulch right up to the edge of the concrete.
And then we're going to bend the paper back, fold the paper back over.
We fold the paper over and then we cover it with more mulch. That's an extra layer of protection against re-sprouting Bermuda grass. Some people worry that mulch like this will wash away in a strong rainstorm. Actually, the mulch will knit together, and it'll capture the rain and let it percolate slowly into the soil. That stems erosion and runoff, and that is what we want. With the sheet mulch in place, the last thing to do is to turn off the sprinklers. Diane will use a hose and sprinkler to wet the mulch from time to time. That will keep the composting process going until all the grass is dead.
Not only will that healthy soil absorb more water, but the way that it's absorbing the more water is that we've got a healthy biological system going on in the soil. So we've got all these nematodes, protozoa, bacteria working together to feed the plants the nutrients and the water that they need.
The last thing you want to do when removing a lawn is to use a rototiller. A rototiller cuts into the ground and chops the grass into big clods. Rototilling might seem like a fast and easy way to get rid of grass, but the process removes way too much soil and disrupts the valuable beneficial organisms that live in the soil. But worse, look closely at the stems of Bermuda and other fat root grasses. They have what look like joints all along their spreading stems. Those joints are called nodes, and each one, when separated from the main root, can start a whole new plant. When a rototiller chops grass up into 1 million pieces, it leaves lots of them behind. So when you rototill a fat root grass, you actually multiply the grass exponentially. Yikes! Organic sprays and natural herbicides can kill grass blades, but they don't do much to roots, so they're not so good for killing fat root grasses. But many work well on fine-rooted grasses. Some horticultural vinegars, for example, are sold as weed killers. Vinegar is acetic acid, and horticultural vinegar is 2 to 4 times stronger acid than the vinegar on your kitchen shelf. Sprayed on plant leaves, it damages the plant cells, so the leaves just die. Horticultural vinegar works fast and often kills grass in a day or 2. Since it's clear, this homeowner added a blue dye to track where he sprayed. Horticultural vinegar is a strong acid, so take care when using it. Long sleeves, long pants, gloves, goggles. Check the label or the manufacturer's website for their list of precautions before you begin. Spray on a day when the air is still, so the vinegar doesn't drift accidentally onto nearby plants. Some brands recommend spraying when the grass is most actively growing, typically between March and October, and early in the day, which is also when you'll be most comfortable in your protective gear. Horticultural vinegar will also kill the leaves of Bermuda and other fat-rooted grasses, but it won't kill the roots. The turf stores energy in these roots, so you can kill off the top, but the roots are just going to resprout and resprout and resprout. So what do we do about Bermuda? You can do what these homeowners are doing. They're tapping the power of the sun by concentrating the heat under a layer of clear plastic. The process is called solarization. We're using the greenhouse effect, capturing the sun's rays under the plastic to superheat the soil. That heat kills the turf. It kills soil pathogens and weed seeds. Soil solarization works best in full sun and in the hottest months of the year. The supplies are minimal. So this is 4 mil, which is fine. 2 mil's good, but 4 mil's okay. A roll of clear polyethylene plastic just a few mils thick. Buy the type with UV protection if you can find it. Thinner plastic allows more heat to accumulate, but it breaks down if not UV stabilized. We also need some bricks or 2x4s or rocks or something heavy to weigh down the edges. Mow the lawn as short as possible and clear away rocks, branches, and anything else that might be sticking up from the surface.
The first step in this solarization is to get the lawn as wet and soaking down, ideally to 2 feet deep, so that it's nice and wet. Then we will be covering it with clear plastic and anchoring down the edges so that the grass can't grow out from underneath it while we're waiting. It's very simple, but it just takes a while for us to do this. And to fit to a lawn that's not shaped like a pure rectangle takes a little bit of finagling.
What are you thinking we're going to do around the tree, Roland?
I'll cut around it, but only where there's grass to cover up.
Spread the plastic, but keep it as tight to the ground as possible. Can't believe it, we're 2 feet short. Way down the edges. Now, turn the sprinklers off. The center heats up more than the edges. We call that edge effects, and you can see it right here where it's green. The best way to avoid that is to spread the plastic past the edge. Now, we wait. 4 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe longer if you live along the coast where it's cooler. People often ask me about using black plastic to solarize. Think of it this way. When you park your car in a parking lot on a hot day and you come back and open the doors, the air is always a lot hotter inside than outside. If you tint those windows, the air inside stays cooler. Well, that's like using black plastic. It tends to shade the ground more than heat it up. So if you really want to heat things up, you gotta use clear plastic. How hot does it get under there? The top 2 inches can get between 8 and 14 degrees hotter than the air. At 4 inches deep, clear plastic increases temperatures between 6 and 9 degrees. That may not sound like much for a person, but for a plant root, it's deadly. Solarization works just as well for fine-rooted grasses, and it kills weed seeds, which is a great side benefit. It can kill some beneficial insects and soil microbes, but they rebound quickly. And as the grass decomposes, it releases nitrogen and other nutrients back into the soil. Once the grass is dead, you can dig out the areas where you need a pathway, you're going to pour concrete, and it needs to be really smooth. But if you're going to plant it like we're going to do here, you don't have to do any of that. Just leave the grass in place. It'll decompose and add a little bit of organic matter to the soil. We'll know this plastic has done its work when all the grass turns the color of straw. Well, it looks like mulch to me.
No green.
No green, and the roots are pretty dead. That's what we want to see, dead grass. Solarizing, sheet mulching, spray, sod cutting, or simply turning off the water. The best method depends on the type of grass you have. With time and patience, the lawn will soon be a memory. Once your lawn is gone, there's a whole world of possibilities for your new garden. Stop thinking about what was there before. Start dreaming about what could be. With landscape design, like with all design, form follows function. Think about how you'd like to use your space. As a play space for children? How about an outdoor living room? Do you want to grow vegetables or plant fruit trees? Would your family enjoy an outdoor kitchen and dining room? Think about traffic patterns. Can visitors easily find your front door? Where could you use a utility area for tools or for trash and recycling? Where are there views to build on or to frame, or views to hide with a screen? Are there broad walls or fences to use as a canvas for a piece of art or a specimen plant? Is there a place for a bench or a chaise for sitting and relaxing? What's the color and style of your home? Your new garden should complement them, not battle them. Settle on your wish list of physical features for the new garden, then think about the plants. The palette of beautiful, colorful, textural water-wise plants is nearly limitless. There's a lot to think about, so this is a good time to seek professional advice. From hardscape and lighting to plants and irrigation, a garden, even a low-water one, is a complex system that works best when all the components are designed to work together. So look around you. More and more there are beautiful water-wise gardens to appreciate and to steal a few ideas for your own water-wise garden. Now we've got a clean slate and it's time to dream. You can replace your old lawn with a meadow, a patio, colorful succulents, flowering water-wise shrubs, even a shade tree. So say bye-bye to the grass and replace it with a beautiful water-wise garden that takes less maintenance and suits our arid California climate. I'm Nan Sterman. Thanks for watching.